Hello friends, welcome to DCBA. Many people have requested me to solve a portal frame sum using stiffness matrix method. So I've taken this particular sum. Looks quite complicated frame, but it's really easy to solve actually. Doesn't have much unknowns. And also we are going to solve this stiffness problem using a more easier approach. The approach that I had shown previously on my channel was a much detailed and a comprehensive one, but we are now going to solve it in a more easier way. Okay, so first thing that you always have to do is find unknowns, and the number of unknowns is given by this dk, that is degree of kinematic indeterminacy, and the formula for dk is 3j minus r plus m, where j is the number of joints, capital R is the number of reactions, and m is the number of members. So joints is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Capital R is the reaction, that is 1 to 3, 3 reactions here, 3 here, and 2 reactions here. So 3 plus 3 is 6, 6 plus 2 8, and m is the number of members. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it, 4. So 3 into 5 minus 8 plus 4, I get 3. So dk is 3. Dk means the number of unknowns that we have to find in this particular problem, and the number of unknowns are 3, that is theta b, theta c, and theta e. A rotation at this point, theta b, a rotation at this point, and a rotation at this point. This is a non-sway type of sum. This is a non-sway portal frame, and that is why there is no delta. If had it been a sway portal frame, then there would be one more rotation here. I'm sorry, there would be one more unknown here, which would be delta. Right now we only have 3 unknowns, and you have to number them. So I have numbered theta b as 1, theta c as 2, and theta e as 3. You have to remember this, okay? Whenever 1 comes into picture, it is for theta b, 2 is for theta c, and 3 is for theta e. This problem is solved only in 4 steps, comprehensive and large, lengthy 4 steps. Step 1 is not that bit lengthy, it is just finding fixed end moments. So step 1 is fixed end moments. MFAB, WB square A by L square. MFBA minus WA square B by L square. Again, which is A and which is B. For member AB, which part is A and which is B. Although it is at the center, so both A and B is equal to 0. So you can also use the formula WL by 8 for a center loaded sum. But if it had been like this case, if it had not been a center, so how are you going to determine which is A and which is B? So again, I had mentioned this many times that when we solve a portal frame, you are standing inside and you are watching the frame. So when you watch the member AB, you are watching it like this, where A is the start end and B is the end point. So this is A and this is B. Again, when you are watching BC, you're watching it like this. B is the start point and C is the end point. Here C is the start point, D is the end point. So this will be A and this will be B. Here, when you come here, you are watching it like this. Now you don't have to watch this member because you have already seen it from this side. Okay, you're watching it like this. So C is the start point and E is the end point. MFBA, then MFBC minus WL square by 12, MFCB plus WL square by 12, MFCD minus WB square A by L square, where B is 2 and A is 3. Oh, I'm sorry, it is CD. So again, A and B are 2. MFCE, where A is 3 and B is 2. And here MFECW square B by L square, it gives you 14.4 kilonewton meter. So this is your step 1. Step 2 is unit deformations at dk. Starting with the first decay, if you remember, then I had numbered our decays, that is theta b was given as number 1, c 2, and e 3. So giving unit rotation for first decay, that is theta b, will give a unit rotation here. Also there is one more point to notice, that all the points here, that is a, b, c, d, e, all have been associated with a fixed support, a fixed joint. So all the points have been fixed. Therefore, whenever we give a rotation at any joint, only the members connected to that joint is going to get affected. All the other members are going to remain unaffected. So if I'm giving a unit rotation at member joint B, then only members that are connected to joint B are going to get affected. That is member BA and BC. So how is this portal frame going to deflect after I give this unit rotation? It is going to get deflected like this. If you've seen my previous videos of stiffness matrix, then there I had explained that whenever we rotate a particular joint, what is the value of this rotation first of all, by which we have to rotate that joint, and what are the values of the reactions that are formed at the opposite joints, and also the horizontal and vertical reaction, right? If you have not seen those videos, please check the playlist of stiffness matrix in my channel, and I'll also link it here at this step. So the moment that is required to rotate this joint is given as 4 EI by L. So 4 EI and L is 4 for AB. Okay, so 4 EI by L 4, and the reaction that is formed at the opposite end is 2 EI by L. So it is 2 EI by 4. These values you have to remember anyhow, and these are also very important values. So you need to keep them in your mind for a long time if you are planning to become a structural engineer. So moment of 4 EI by L at this joint. This is the first moment, which is basically giving the unit rotation, and this is the reaction that is formed due to this forced moment. Again, the value of the forced moment for member BC at this joint would be 4 EI by L, since the length is again 4, and also the opposite end reaction would be 2 EI by L. One very easy way to remember the direction is whichever direction you had applied the unit moment. Like I had applied it like this. If you remember, I had applied it this way. So the reactions and the force moments would also be in that direction only. Since I had applied it clockwise, the reactions formed at the opposite end and the forces both are clockwise in nature. K11 is the force or moment formed at joint 1 due to unit deflection or rotation given at joint 1. So because of the unit rotation that we had given at joint 1, the forces or moments that are formed at joint 1 are these forces, right? 4 EI by 4 and 4 EI by 4. Both are clockwise in nature. So clockwise is positive. This is our sign convention. Anti-clockwise is negative. Anti-clockwise negative, clockwise positive. So since these are clockwise moments, I'll add them up. Both are at the same joint, right? Then K21 is the force or moment formed at joint 2 due to unit rotation or unit deflection applied at point 1. So this first number, first digit, it is basically the force or moment where it is formed, right? Force or moment, and this is for rotation or deflection, where rotation and deflection is applied. Force or moment where it is formed, and second number indicates the rotation or deflection where it had been applied. So we are applying the unit rotation at 1, right? Therefore the next or this second digit is always going to remain 1 for this particular case. So K11, K21, the next would be K31. K21 is only 2 EI by 4. There is no other moment or force being applied here. So it is only 2 EI by 4. And positive because it is clockwise. K31 is 0 because there is nothing being formed here at the joint 3 due to unit rotation applied at joint 1. So no force is being formed at joint 3 due to unit rotation applied at joint 1. Again under step 2, now this was giving unit rotation for first decay. Now we'll give unit rotation for second decay and see what happens. So when we give a unit rotation for second decay, all the members that are connected to the joint 2 are going to get affected. That is member CB, member CE and member CD. So this is how it rotates basically. And the values of forces, forced moments and reactive moments would be, here it is 4 EI by L, so 4 EI by 4, 2 EI by 4, here again 4 EI by L, L is now 5, at the opposite end it would be 2 EI by 5, here it is 4 EI by 4 and at the opposite end 2 EI by 4. Now K12 is the force or moment that is formed at joint 1 due to unit rotation or deflection applied at joint 2. So 2 EI by 4 is the only moment that is formed at joint 1. K22 would be force or moment formed at joint 2 due to unit rotation applied at joint 2. So it is 4 EI by 4 plus 4 EI by 5 plus 4 EI by 4. All these three, which comes out to be 14 by 5 EI. K32 is force or moment formed at 3 due to unit rotation or deflection applied to joint 2, which is also only one moment, 2 EI by 5. So these are, we are forming our stiffness matrix. Okay, this is basically we are forming a stiffness matrix. Now we have finished giving unit rotation at second decay. Now we'll give unit rotation at the third decay and see what happens. So only one member is connected to this joint and only that is going to get affected, 4 EI by 5, and here it will be 2 EI by 5. So K13 would be 0 because nothing is formed at joint 1. K23, only this force is formed, right? That too clockwise, therefore it is positive, and K33 is 4 EI by 5. So now we have completed finding all the stiffness values here, stiffness matrix values. Step 3 is finding unknowns. Now this is the equation for finding the unknowns, P dash n cross 1, where n is the number of unknowns. In our case it is 3, right? So this matrix would be 3 cross 1 matrix. This is the first matrix, which is a 3 cross 1 matrix. Second is Kij, which is the stiffness matrix elements that we just found. That is K11, K12, K13, etc. etc. It is going to be n cross n, that is 3 cross 3. So this will be a 3 cross 3 matrix. Then delta n cross 1. These are the unknowns basically. So here it will be theta b, theta c, and theta e. Again it is 3 cross 1 matrix, 3 cross 1 matrix. And the last is p n cross 1. Now each of these matrices have its different meaning. The first matrix, that is P dash n cross 1, is the fixed end moment at the corresponding joint of unknown. That is, if the first decay, that is first unknown, is theta b, right? So near this joint, whichever fixed end moment is there, we need to add them. So near the joint B, the two fixed end moments would be MFBC and MFBA and MFBC. Okay, the unknown, second degree of unknown occurs at joint C, and the fixed end moments at joint C are MFCB, MFCD, and MFCE. The third decay occurs at E, and the fixed end moment near the joint E is only one, which is MFEC. So we'll write this here, MFBA plus MFBC for joint B, that is first unknown, first decay. Second decay occurs at joint C, so it is MFCB plus CD plus CE. Third decay occurs at joint E, so it is only MFEC. Then all these stiffness matrix coefficients, these are called as stiffness coefficients, K11 till K33. Then our unknowns, theta B, theta C, and theta D. And the last column, P n cross 1, is any external force occurring on the joint of unknown decay. That is, first decay is theta B and it is occurring on the joint B. So is there any external force? Yes, there is an external force or moment. If you can see at the joint B, there is this 10 kilonewton meter moment on the joint B, applied on the joint, right? So this last this last matrix P n cross 1 is basically those forces or moments which are applied on the joint, not anywhere else, but exactly on the joint. So on the joint B, there is this moment of 10 kilonewton meter. One more thing, very important, is that if there was a force on this joint B, say a horizontal force, of 10 kilonewton, then you should not consider this horizontal force for writing here, even though it is occurring on the joint, because our first decay is a rotation, right? First decay is theta, second decay is also theta, third is also theta. So theta, a very important thing, thetas are always associated with moments, and deflections, deltas, are always associated with forces. So since our first decay is a theta, theta is always associated with moment. Therefore, even if there is a force here, it is not there, but even if it was there, you will not consider this force writing here. Okay. The only thing that should be considered is a moment, and that too here the direction of the moment is anti-clockwise. So it would be minus 10 kilonewton meter. So we'll write all these things now. When I add these up, I get these values. These are K11, K12. I've taken EI outside. There's one more check here. The check is that K12 will always be equal to K21. K13 will always be equal to K31. K23 is equal to K32, and so on and so forth. These numbers 2332, 1221, these stiffness coefficients have to be same. That is a check if you have done your calculations correct or not. Now writing a theta v, theta c, theta d, and for the final column, for first decay, that is theta b, the external moment or force, only external moment will come. Even if force was there, we will not include it. So only a moment of 10 kilonewton meter at to negative, minus because it is anti-clockwise moment. Second decay is theta c. So second decay is also rotation. So on the member, on the joint C, is there any external moment applied? Yes, there is a moment applied of 30 kilonewton meter, and it is clockwise direction. So here it will be plus 30. And for the third decay, that is theta E, is there any external moment applied at theta at joint E? No, there is no moment applied at joint E, so it will be 0. This is your final equation, and when you solve this equation, you will get the unknowns theta b, theta c, and theta e. How to solve it? Just take this matrix on the right hand side. So it is plus. If it goes there, it will become minus. And then when you solve them both, basically I'll write it here: minus 110 by 3, 105 by 15, and 14.4. When you solve this, you get a 3 cross 1 matrix, and then you need to solve them to get these theta b, theta c, and theta e. You can solve it in your calculator using the multiple equations, that is three equations, three unknowns. So this will be A, B, C, that is A1, B1, C1, A2, B2, C2, A3, B3, C3, and equal to these D1, D2, and D3. This is I am writing for the calculator. Okay, your calculator has the option of solving multiple equations, simultaneous equations. Once you get theta b, theta c, and theta e, you will basically get it like this: theta c and theta e. So these are the values of theta b, theta c, and theta e. Positive values indicate that there is a clockwise rotation. A negative value indicates that there is an anti-clockwise rotation. Now to find the final moment, that is MAB, MBA, MBC, CD, DC, CE, and EC, you need to draw these different diagrams. That is, first is fixed end moment diagram, theta B diagram, theta C diagram, and theta E diagram. Fixed end moment diagram would include all the moments, that is MFAB, MFBA, MFBC, MFCB, MFCD, and MFDC, MFCE, and MFEC. Theta B diagram would include only those values that you found while determining the or while giving the unit rotation at theta b. So only these two members were affected, right, because of the unit rotation at theta b. In theta c diagram, these three members were affected, and these are the values. in terms of EI only. And for theta E diagram, only one member was affected. Now MAB would be written as 10. This is clockwise, so it will be plus 10. I'm only concerned about this joint now. Okay, I'm writing the equation for MAB. It will be plus 10. Then here MAB plus theta B into 0.5 EI, since it's a theta B diagram. Then there is nothing here, so plus 0 into theta C, and then there is nothing here as well, 0 into theta E. This is your equation for MAB, and when you substitute the value for theta B that we found in the previous step, you will get the exact value of MAB. Okay, so 10 plus 0.5 EI into theta B, I get it as 15.4816 kilonewton meter positive, which indicates it is clockwise. MBA would be minus 10, although I've shown it clockwise, but the exact value of MMBA was minus 10. Minus 10, and then in theta B diagram, it is plus EI into theta B. Then theta C diagram, nothing is there. Theta A diagram, nothing is there. So minus 10 plus EI theta B will give me 0.9631 kilonewton meter. MBC, again writing all these equations in the similar manner, you can find all the moments at different joints. So you can pause the video and take a look at all the equations, how they have been formed, and then calculate it by yourself. So this is how you can analyze a portal frame using stiffness matrix method. In my next video, I'll solve a sum of portal method which has got a horizontal deflection as well. So you'll come to know how to solve such sums where deflections are also there. Till then, thank you so much for watching my video lecture. And if you have liked it, please like the video and share it with your friends as well. As more we share the knowledge, more we learn. Thank you.